We are all created to relate. That's why relationships contribute the biggest part of our health. Because if your relationship is not going well as a couple, you're going to struggle parenting. They found out that 8 out of every 10 marriages said they were so unhappy. Our divorce rate had, as at that time, had tripled to 12%. And 30% of the married couples said they didn't feel their partners. They felt lonely and totally disconnected. Loneliness is a feeling of disconnection. Every relationship we desire, it's in human nature, that human need to be close. When we attach, we become secure. Yes. When we attach, we feel valued. Someone comes to me and says, they love me. Yes. Ooh, that's big.
You know, even your attitude changes. Suddenly you have a spark.
All that combined, it makes up only 10% of a human being.
Good morning, our friends who are watching. Good morning, Dr. Ivas.
Good morning, babe.
Your choice of colors, you must be intentional in the way you pick your clothes. May we start from there as I comment on how you look so good in your aqua and blue.
Oh, thank you so much. Blue is my color, actually. And I love the sky. I love to look up and get the hope. But it also makes me look good.
Good. And you do look good.
Yeah, and I love green because it speaks, it just communicates life to me and hope. Like even in the driest of places, there will always be a green somewhere that brings hope.
And that's what we want this show to do, to bring you hope. My name is Beverly Nambozensengyuva, proudly stepping in for Rachel Mwine today. You're welcome to Reality Check, another episode on a Thursday morning. How has your week been? Today, we're going to bring hope by discussing something quite challenging: loneliness. Loneliness not only in marriage, loneliness in friendship, loneliness even when you're amidst a crowd. And we've experienced it in various degrees. How do we deal with it? Must we deal with it? How does it creep in? Is it something we have just adjusted to as part of our lives? So this loneliness, first of all, how do you identify what loneliness is in marriage or any relationship, any situation?
Loneliness in marriage. And we're going to focus it there, but I just wanted to give it a background once again, a psychological background or a psychology background and a relational science background, because relationships, in case we didn't know, we are all created to relate. That's why relationships contribute the biggest part of our health and our wellness and our happiness. Again, I use every opportunity to remind viewers that our wellness, our health, 90% is from relationships. Wow. Only 10 material. 10 material. And again, this is science. This is not some women talk.
No.
But also to remind viewers that in relationships, we have what we call core relationships and then others. So the core ones, which is marriage and children, right? Now, people will be surprised that we are not talking about brother and whatever, because those are not core to an individual who is in an intimate relationship. Please mark me. Yes. It's okay. You see, you hear blood is thicker. At that level, still it is big. But at a core level, which, because you know your brother, your sister you can disagree and send them away and not talk to them in a year, but not your partner. Not your partner. So when we talk about core relationships, this is marriage, big. So it contributes the biggest chunk, And so for instance, again, when your child is not going well, it's not some cousin or nephew or there you can sleep, but your own child. So when we talk about core relationships and we talk about marriage, That's key, because marriage is foundational to the relationships. I don't want to drag people so much into the psychology of it, but when we talk about family, we have subsystems. So we have the spousal subsystem. Yeah. That spousal subsystem, that's marriage. Now that marriage anchors everything in it. It informs how you parent, because if your relationship is not going well as a couple, you're going to struggle parenting. If your relationship is not going well, your children's, even the sibling relationship gets affected. If your relationship is not going well as a couple, it affects even how the workers work. Sometimes people disagree, and you find now they are managing a house help becomes a problem, managing workers. So this relationship it's everything. It anchors people. It anchors everything. Finances, success, and everything. So you find that this is core. So when we talk about a relation, loneliness in that relation, we are really focusing on that. And I'm sure, once again, that in every relationship, we want connection. We don't want loneliness. Okay, so you asked me to talk about what loneliness is.
Yes, how are those aspects identified in marriage?
Now, so loneliness is a feeling of disconnection. Because you see, every relationship we desire it's in human nature, that human need to be close so that we can be happy and fulfilled. It's that. I think I'm breaking it down for people to understand it well. Because when we say closeness or loneliness, people say, what do you mean? What do you mean you're lonely? We all get to people, we get into relationships to attach. When we attach, we become secure. When we attach, we feel valued. When we attach, we feel protected. When we attach and connect, we feel understood. And so what does that do? It makes us happy.
Yes.
You see? So it is not just some random thing.
No.
It is so important to life, because every human being is pursuing happiness. But how we get that happiness, sometimes we don't understand. And that's why we are explaining this. No one gets into a relationship to be detached. No. We all desire to be close, and closeness, then it gives us emotional warmth, and then that warmth makes us happy.
Wow.
We become happy.
Yes.
And we feel fulfilled. What does that do to you? You get healthy. Even the physical health gets well. You see, our physical health depends on our emotional well-being.
Yes.
That feeling. So so it's all rooted in a human need to be close, to be attached, to be connected. You see, to be connected. I hope I've labeled it. But
very well, actually.
Yeah.
The times when I have felt lonely, either in my marriage or in other relationships, is because I don't feel seen.
Yeah.
I don't feel visible. And I thought it was just my need to feel visible because of my personality. But I think it's everyone's need. And I remember writing poems about feeling invisible. And the poems were quite scarring and disturbing. But that's what I felt at that time. Until I actually had a conversation. Unaware. You see, the thing is, sometimes the person is unaware.
Can
that
I
you feel
explain
invisible.
something to you based on what you have mentioned? Feeling visible. Do you know that that's at the core of every person's lives?
Yes.
Because we all want to be relevant.
Yes.
A sense of meaning.
Thank you.
A sense of purpose.
Yes.
Oh, I'm relevant. I'm needed.
I am needed. I am needed.
Yes. So that's at the core of a human being. Forget about these material things that make us comfortable physically. But at the core of every human being, we desire to be needed. So visibility. Do you see me? Am I? That's why we are ever looking. Tell me I look good. Tell me this, that. Because if you have listened, every person that commits suicide says life has lost
Meaning. So you want meaning.
Meaning.
Yes.
So let me just use circles. So at the core circle of a human being, that's what we call the spirit. That spiritual level is where we are seeking meaning and purpose.
So true.
Right? Am I relevant? Am I needed? And so who needs me? The person that I value most should need me. That's why relevance and meaning in marriage is so core.
It's so important.
So important.
So important.
The rest we can go and act.
That's when you can work on how do we get school fees, how do we pay the rent, how do we invest? Yes.
Okay. But there, am I needed?
Yes.
Am I relevant?
Yes.
Please note that that's where our relationships begin.
Ideally, that's the foundation.
That's the foundation because someone comes to me and says they love me.
Yes.
Ooh, that's big.
You know, even your attitude changes. Suddenly you have a spark.
Ooh.
Yes, everything
You love
changes.
Me? That means I'm good.
Yes.
That by that time someone admires me, to love me, to want to spend the rest of their lives with. Geez, that's big. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens?
Yes.
Then it should remain that way. I shouldn't be irrelevant along
Suddenly,
the way.
after 5 years,
No,
what has happened?
I shouldn't. So that's the core. That's the core. Relevance. Now that's where love is.
Yeah.
That's where love is. This resides in our hearts, right? That's why love, we use that emoji. Is it an emoji or
the smile? Yes.
The smile. The love.
Yes.
The heart.
Yes.
That's why we say love is the heart.
It is.
Because it resides in the heart.
Yeah.
Now, when your heart tells you you're not relevant, that's where it crashes, right? So that's where we are held from, not these dresses. No, there, deep. So you can see people smile on the inside, they are crushed. Yeah. And especially when you feel rejected or isolated, or you disconnect with the person you're supposed to connect most. And I'm about to tell you that in different relationships, we connect differently. Yes. That's why I was explaining this to you. Now, let me first finish this. So above, let me draw another circle above. That's the soul.
All right.
The soul has 3 components. It has emotions, feelings. Yeah. Emotions is basically energy in motion. So energy in motion could be positive or negative. So if I feel rejected, right? Yes. Then I'm going to feel sad.
So that's the response to the feeling of rejection.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to feel. So those emotions, there are positives and negatives. There is anger, there is hate, there is envy, there is what else? Anxiety, confusion, worry, and all those ones are there. But then we also have the positives. The positive should be this. The positives, we have love. Love is a big emotion. Big. I've heard people say love is not an emotion. No, love is an emotion. It has intense feelings of connection. That's an emotion. Then we have joy, we have peace, so all those positive ones. Now, that's an important part of our lives. Please note, depending on how emotions are processed, they are going to inform the spirit.
Yes.
So if I feel if I'm angry or if I feel rejected, then I'm going to feel inadequate, not wanted, irrelevant, right? If someone, if I feel hated, then I'm going to feel irrelevant. You see, my sense of purpose is going to be affected. You see that? So that core. Now this level interacts with the world and then lets your spirit process things. You know, then so we have emotions. We also have the mindset. Mind is it always scans the horizon to interpret the world again around how do you perceive this. So if, for instance, you perceive the world to be threatening, or you perceive your environment to be affecting, going to steal things from you, then it is going to also inform, man, I'm threatened. So down there, I'm not safe. Okay. Then you also have the will. So emotions, the mind, and the will.
The will,
The will. willpower. You've heard where there is a will, there is a way. That's where our choices are made. Now
That's more cognitive. You're more...
Yes. So the choices you make are going also to determine how you feel, but also going to inform your how at the core level. Yes. How you relevant you are. You see that? Now, the spirit and the soul combined make up 90% of a person.
Who we are.
Who we are.
I feel we don't have adequate knowledge.
We don't. We don't. That's why we focus on the body.
We focus on the body, and we think that will take care of our inadequacies emotionally.
Then we say looks determine feelings. Well, just a little bit, but you see,
and we call it self-care.
No, the core of a person is hidden in your spirit and in your soul. And these are not religious statements.
No, these are
not
science.
This is
as
science.
You mentioned,
this is you.
Science.
It's actually you. It's as simple as that. Now the body with all the body parts, those we see, those we don't see. For instance, I have the heart, you're not seeing it. I have lungs, you're not seeing them. I have them all combined, plus the 5 senses. And if you are a woman, 6 senses plus intuition.
How do men respond to that when we say we have a 6th sense? Don't they have it?
Oh, it just runs them down. They don't want it. But you see, the point is, all that combined, it makes up only 10% of a human being. It's housing, basically.
Yes.
So housing, we pay attention to housing. This phone, what makes it iPhone something?
Yes.
I will not mention, people laugh at me that I still have that iPhone. But this phone, what makes it an iPhone, whatever series they are, is the fittings on the inside.
It's true.
It's not the
It's not the
cover.
casing, no.
It's not, no. So so what makes you and I is on the inside. So that core of a human being, which we need to pay attention to. And when we talk about loneliness, I'm giving it this detailed background. So then people don't say, don't I have TV? Why do you want me? You see, I'm just giving it that so that it could cushion our conversation. Then now that needs to be paid attention to. This doesn't feed on physical food.
No.
It doesn't feed on material things. It feeds on relationship.
So are you trying to say that loneliness then comes because that part is starved? It's not being fed.
It is starved.
And how? I believe that there's some people who intentionally starve another person's spirit and will because they know what makes them upset. Especially when you're in that co-relationship of a spouse, which is different from a sibling. And in what ways do spouses trigger starvation in a person?
So, as I mentioned, we all marry to connect with someone. And imagine if you were dating someone and you say, I'll be away, I'll not talk to you, I'll not do that, and all that. I'm not going to be available. And you should put up with that. That would be, no one would marry you. No one would marry you. But also, Bev, I'll tell you that when we are dating to marry, we bring out the best. We are available.
Absolutely.
We are having conversations that feed that inner, you know. We listen to someone. I mean, connection. Because we are talking about loneliness. Loneliness is absence of connection and closeness. But when we are dating, what do? We are so close. We are caring. We are listening. We are empathetic.
Attention.
We pay attention. We apologize when we. Some don't. we do all manner of things. What does that do? It gets us close to a point of wedding and making vows. And we commit, I'll be with you, I'll never leave you, all that we say. So that's how someone trusts you. That trusts you. Now, let me make this statement again. You see, marriage is the biggest. It's the biggest investment, but it's also the most risky venture that anyone can ever get in.
Can you speak about it being the biggest investment in relationships?
It's the biggest investment because you see, you put in your biggest resources, you put in yourself. You're not putting in money, you're putting in your life. You see, if I commit to marrying my husband as a single girl, I've put in my life.
That's true.
Hey, I've put in my life, and this is big. Now, what does it mean putting in my life? I've had someone say, I've given you 7 years of my life. I've given you my life. Yes, we give lives to each other. Because when I'm single, I still have some people who can come.
You have options.
I have options. But the moment I commit to you, I have locked my my options. I've gone to you. It can't be the same again. I can start again, but it can never be the same. You see, because I've put in my life. You know, now if I have put in my life, I expect that my resources, which is my life and all the things that I have, are going to be protected. I mean, look, investment ventures, there are those we say, oh, well, I can afford to lose that money.
To lose that, yes.
But this is your life. You see, like now I've been married, I'm in my 30th year.
Oh my goodness,
Jeez.
Congratulations.
Now, just imagine now, this doesn't work. I have to start afresh, and for some people it happens, right? I will tell you, it can't be the same. It can't be the same. It can't. Wow. You see, on this show, I've talked about people wasting other people's lives. Someone is young, vibrant, options available, being admired. Now they've locked their lives with you.
You promised them and you broke the promise.
You break it.
You broke the
and now
promise.
they have to start afresh. Maybe they've already, I mean, you know, so many things that happen.
And yet starting afresh is not just physical. What hurts is exactly what you've mentioned.
Yeah, with a broken
heart. You built the core. They invited you into their spirit, into their soul, into their will. And then you break that. I think what you mentioned is so good because 90% of us is that. You break 90%, how am I going to rebuild it?
100%. And
100%,
so they've caused wounds.
Yes.
They've caused wounds at your soul level and at your spirit level.
You didn't steal my clothes, which I can buy again.
No.
You stole, my goodness.
Yes. So it's really deep. It's absolutely deep. And so now, meaning that, let me just reframe it and give it a positive thing so that we don't present to you very... a dark side, but that's what we are talking about. It's as important as, that's where a human being is. And so when we commit to nourishing each other, it's not about buying me clothes, come on. It's not about buying me an expensive watch or whatever. It's deep. It's deep. That's why when we cut each other, it cuts deep there. And when you have emotional wounds down there, oh, it can be tough. That's how people go through life broken, completely broken. And when you're broken, then you're going to see a broken world. You interpret life with broken lenses, and that's what happens. So it is so important that then we pay attention to that. Now, Bev, let me just say something here. I was doing research in preparation for this session, but also I've shared before. Number one, about, and this is, of course, we're speaking to the global community, but let's use an example of Uganda. I've told you that when we marry, we expect to be connected to the most important person, because you don't just share body, you share your soul, you attach at soul level. That's why you hear soul tie. We tie there, we connect there. It's not some random sleeping together. It is deep, deep. Right. Now, relationships, we don't attach the same way. When it is marriage, it's deep. When it is Bev, a friend, I still love you, I want to connect with you, but it's not the same emotional voltage or investment that you put in. Now, so I've come back to my statistics. I looked at a study done in 2020. Every time I share about the time it was done, people say it was because of COVID-19. But that study was done, and the title is Diving Deep into Family Relationships. They found out that 8 out of every 10 marriages, 77% of all married people say they were so unhappy.
And this is across faiths.
This is across
across
the country. Please look for that study, you'll get it. 8 out of every 10 marriages, people are miserable. That doesn't look good on us.
Not at all.
Right? Our divorce rate had, as at that time, had tripled to 12%. Right? 12%. God knows what it is now. I don't have the latest statistics, but I want to guarantee you that it doesn't look good at all. Only 11% of the married couples said they were connected, they were happy, they were fulfilled in their relationship.
And these are anonymous questionnaires.
These were anonymous questionnaires. Now, recently, I saw something that was released last month in July, this is
2
September.
months ago, yes.
2 months ago. Another random study was done about connection in relationships here in Uganda, and 30% of the married couples said they didn't feel their partners. They felt lonely and totally disconnected.
And this is disaggregated data, both men and women.
Both men and
That's
women.
really important.
Both men and women.
That's very important to know that it was both of them.
Now, so what does this mean to us? That means our relationships are miserable. And core relationships are miserable. Now, once again, research shows us current trends in research, in relational research, are showing that 80% of our wellness, if you're married, is drawn from your core relationship. 80% of your happiness is rooted in the management of your relationship. What do we do?
Wow. How is it caused? How these statistics are quite alarming.
Yes. Now, if 80% is drawn from your happiness, rather from your core relationship, which is if you're married, please, because I always hear people say, so do you mean us who are not married, we are not happy? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you're married, if you have a partner, your relationship has capacity to power you. 80% capacity to power you and make you energetic, make you effective, make you happy, power your health, physical health, right? So now when we hear that people are miserable, that 80%, rather 8 out of every 10 marriages, people are hanging in there. Why are they hanging in there? They feel disconnected and detached. No one wants to marry anyone and be detached. No. You see, you don't just want to be close in bed. We are married and the only time you're close is when you are in bed. No conversation, no emotional connection. Oh, my brothers say, what is emotional connection? No closeness, no intimate conversations, no uncomfortable conversation, no solving a problem, no nothing. Everyone is running, surviving, driving in big cars, enter gate, enter another house, and then you get into another emotional gate and lock yourself there, and then sleep on the bed and go and celebrate 50 years. And by the way, you can still celebrate 50 years, 25 years when you're totally lonely and isolated. Because
what helps with that is that people now have another excuse, just feel busy. Because for them, they manage their loneliness by being busy.
It's a hideout. Yes. It's a hideout. We call them emotional hideouts.
Yes.
And you see, when we do not connect with our partners, we are going to, because you see, it's rooted in our human desire to connect. No one gets into a relationship to be disconnected. No one. We all want to be close and connected. The closeness manifests in so many ways, in the conversation, in the vulnerability, in someone listening to you, understanding you, simple little things that make us happy. And by the way, babe, let me tell you why we are having this conversation. My desire is that we shall begin to look at relationships differently, not some casual societal expectation of I'm married and no, that's not it.
Thank you for mentioning we're not against societal expectations.
No,
thank you for that.
No.
Because they can add to the misery,
Yes,
actually.
because you see, if you're married because society has told you to marry, that's okay. But let's start here.
Yes.
Please work on the connection.
Nurture it together, not with society.
Nurture connection, because the society can celebrate you for being married and for attending weddings together and appearing in church together when you're actually very miserable.
True.
Very miserable, disconnected, sad, frustrated, but the society is ticking the boxes.
They're ticking what they want to
people.
see.
You can actually hold a celebration, anniversary. Yes, you can, and people can come and dance and eat. And
they can even come home every Sunday and cook lunch for them.
But you're disconnected.
Yes.
Now, that relationship hurts. Because once you live in a relationship where you feel lonely, isolated, it becomes a problem because you can even fall sick. That's why we are dealing with lots of depression in marriage. You see? Depression in marriage, where people don't spend time together. Can I remind viewers that good relationships are about both quantity and quality time spent together. Quality time spent together. How does that quality time look like? Talk. This is a big tool for relationship building. Talk. Listen to each other. This is an outlet for emotions, both good and bad. Yes. The emotions were not put in us to bottle.
To be bottled.
Imagine you are a bottle full of anger, resentment, fear, anxiety, and all. What kind of human being are you? No, you're sick.
And yet there are many human beings like
very
that.
Very sick, and that's why, and that's how most people are dying of depression. And recently, I was just saying to people, I said, unfortunately, we don't have a cause of death marriage, but now we have so many cause of death marriage. Just people were so happy until they got married. Come on, if you are a partner and you're the cause of misery, I mean, this person has been happy in their home, loved, connected to their parents, and then they get you. You you lure them into this relationship, and they think you meant it.
Yes.
And then when they get there, you're not available, you're working, you're connecting with the girls or boys or whatever. Your job becomes your wife or husband, and that's it. And then we say, but don't they see I'm working? That doesn't look good.
You're taking the person for granted.
Doesn't look good. Yes. Not only them, you.
Yes.
Because you see, if we do not nurture these healthy relationships, if your relationship is not good quality, where you create time to talk, and be together, and just be together and laugh. What is life about? It's about laughter. It's about a hug. By the way, the biggest chunk of life is cost free. It doesn't cost a penny. It's just laughter. It's a smile. It's a hug. It's I feel loved. It is. That's where we get the health from. Yes. But now what is happening? Because our core relationships, we are disconnected. Then we try to act in the public space.
And mask it.
And we mask it. We mask it in so many ways. So many ways. Of course, they
so in the gloss and the shine.
Yes.
Put all of that on top of it.
We buy big cars. We buy. I have nothing against big cars.
In other words, we're overcompensating for something.
It's compensatory living, yes.
And sometimes it's easy to notice when someone is feeling inadequate and they're overcompensating, because what they're doing is they're seeking attention, so that attention then removes them from the fact that they're actually lonely. So let me get attention from this space since I'm not getting it in my core-relationship.
100%. Yes. And you see, that's where I started from, that if you're not attaching or attached in your core relationship, these are the things you're not going to attach. You're not.
No.
You can actually compensate through friends.
Yes.
But that you cannot. You can only.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not sustainable because you see, God created us that we would have meaningful core relationships, and I can put scripture to it. I think it's Psalm 68, verse 6 or verse 8. God placed the lonely in families.
Yes.
You see, I'll get it. God placed the lonely in families. What does that mean? We were lonely alone, and then He placed us in families so that we can be fulfilled and attached. Now, He didn't place us in families to be lonely again. No. He placed us in families to enjoy meaningful relationships. So it doesn't matter. You could even be serving the Lord.
Yes.
But you're ignoring your core relationship.
And I want to ask now, in that, you're enjoying your relationship in your marriage. What are the dangers there of sometimes placing this relationship of marriage on a pedestal? Because sometimes I think navigating that balance, can you advise us on how to navigate that balance where we don't put our spouse or the ministry of marriage on a pedestal, that we're careful to know this person is still human. While they complete me in many ways, they're still human, and I shouldn't place too much expectation on them because they still are human.
Okay, so let me first give my viewers a scripture. So it is Psalm 68, verse 6.
Okay.
God places the lonely in families.
Oh.
He sets the prisoners free and gives them joy. So what does it mean? Actually, when we are alone, when we are not placed in families, we are lonely. We are lonely, and so He puts us there to enjoy those meaningful relationships. I love scripture, and I love that I've gotten the ability to look at scripture and psychology, and what is psychology without scripture? But anyway, so that's what, when I learned about the importance of family, then now I interpreted this scripture very well, because then in psychology we see that then a family anchors us and gives us that happiness and all and all and all. However, what you're asking, how do we make sure that our loneliness is not only solved by...
Yes.
That's what you're asking.
Yes.
Okay, so look, you see, family, I'm just trying to, when I was young, our mom taught us so many things, but one of the things I love her for, he taught us that when you're going to a function, please eat something.
All right.
Eat something at home.
At home. That's what I tell my children.
Yes.
We always eat.
I like that. So when I'm going to a function, I don't go hungry. And so I also do that for my children, so that they don't get there and they are so hungry and they are looking at, because then you tell us you're going to have mururu. Just make sure that you have, you have the reserves. And when they serve you, you eat, but you're not desperate. So that's exactly what happens. You see, you're not putting all your expectations on your partner. And I think I'm on record. I've said to people that your partner can't meet all your emotional needs.
Yes.
So that's why we need friends, we need good friends, we need family, we need all these structures. We need to, I have my 3 great friends, and when I sit with them and we laugh, and my partner can't meet all that. I connect with my brothers and my sisters, and we laugh. We are a laughing family. And so I'll call my brother, we laugh about nothing and talk about nothing.
And those things are important.
And those are important to make me happy. But they can't replace my partner. They can't replace my partner. So going back to the analogy of my mother teaching me to go while I've eaten, I'm going to have I need to approach this with, when I'm going out, he's not going to meet all, but there are certain things that he's supposed to meet. You see, there are certain needs that I have. There is a certain level of validation I need from my partner, that even if the whole world gave to me and I don't get it from my partner,
it's not enough.
I'll still feel empty.
It's so important,
You see, because I'll still doubt myself, because how can the entire world tell me that I look beautiful when my partner doesn't?
That is so true.
You
That's
see?
why some people's compliments matter, but they won't matter as much
No.
as when it comes
No.
from your spouse.
Actually, when you
It is
get
so
them
important.
from out, then you come to check. Is it true?
How come you don't? Yes.
Is it,
Yes.
am I actually? Because the core person, the most important person, is saying nothing. He's saying nothing.
Yeah.
You see? So the whole world can clap for you. That's why even in core relationships, children, they need the validation of
From
parents.
home.
That's why I've always told parents, tell your children, put the right tags on them so that you complete the space for the world to put negative tags.
Yes.
And when you put these tags, you tell your child they are great, you tell them you're proud of them, you tell them this. Then when the world says they are great, they know that they are reinforcing what the parent, the most important person has said. So it's that's the same thing. Nothing replaces core relationships.
And maybe that's why the confusion comes in and loneliness, because they're not receiving these important compliments, or they're being starved of this. They go and look for it outside.
Yes.
And yet it's not enough. And so they pile more and more and more. It's almost like a bottomless pit. You see, here it would be filled. Then you go out and it's a bottomless pit. The compliments aren't enough. All right, let me buy myself things. All right, let me consume something. And it's never enough.
Because we are feeling a void created at home. Created in the moment there is a void. You see, that's why I started off with, this is the importance of core relationships. That's why family builds esteem, right? When I'm complimented by my partner, I'm going to go, and in case other people forget, I don't care. I don't care. I know that Sarongo loves me. I know that he tells me. I know that he's my cheerleader. I know that he will say all these things. So when I get Bev to tell me, I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
But I don't want you to tell me when he's not telling me.
Yes.
You see? So the void that is created in core relationships, they can't be filled by others. That's why it's a longing. That's why people live a lifetime of compensatory living, always searching for someone to tell me, because here it has created doubt.
Yes.
You see, every time you're like, really, if I was it, then my partner should have told me. If I looked good, then my partner should have told me. And that's why I always encourage people, please, use these basic things to build meaningful
As you said, it costs, it's free.
How long does it, how much
free.
does it cost
Yes.
to tell someone they look good? And I can hear someone say, if she doesn't look good, I've said it, and someone has said, supposing she doesn't look good. If she doesn't look good, tell them something else.
Yes. There's always
something great about the person you married.
And if you love them, you'll always find something.
100%.
As in, you just have, in other words, the basket is filling with compliments.
That's so true.
They're not enough, actually. You're just filling them and filling that tap all the time. It should be an outpouring of tap.
100%.
It should never run dry.
If you are in a marriage and you don't see anything good about the person, how did you end up with them? And what happened? What happened? Really, there's nothing. Now, I've again, in my line of work, I've had, whenever I ask that question, I say, how did you marry? What did you look at? Then they quickly say, I was blind, look, we didn't date enough, and all. Then if you really ended up with them, and there's nothing great about them, they're not to blame. You're to blame. Yeah, and you could run to make another choice, but most likely you'll still make a wrong choice.
It will be a repeat occurrence.
So they are not the problem. The chooser, most likely, is the problem, right? So, but that aside, there is something good about every human being.
Of course.
Whether you were blind, how, now your eyes are seeing. There is something good about the person. Most of the time when we say that, we are really being brutal. Yeah, we really want to justify something. But there is always something you can say.
Do you think it's easy to make a turnaround? For example, if someone has experienced loneliness for 5-6 years and they're now concentrating on their children or their job, how easy is it? How do you facilitate a turnaround where maybe you come to realization, I'm actually at fault? How do I then, because isn't the trust needs to be rebuilt, I imagine. You're going through the motion. So how do we get back and reconnect and reignite have that warmth so that our core is once again fed?
First of all, Bev, we need to understand what has caused that disconnection. What has caused the loneliness? You don't just turn around. You need to know what happened. What has caused this? Now, I don't want to miss your point on how people then look for survival.
That's what they
Survival. Now, if you are in a relationship and your partner is just surviving, that's not nice. And let me say this, Bev. You see, when we are still young in a marriage, soon we'll be talking about the stages of marriage. But there are stages of marriage where we nurture connection, right? It's just like laying the foundation for connection. Human nature, just like plants, gravitate towards warmth.
True.
They gravitate towards light, right? Hope. So human nature always looks for hope. But we connect with people who don't judge us harsh.
That's true.
We connect with people who we can be vulnerable to. Just think about your random relationships, not intimate.
Where you don't have to have your brother.
Bev, Rachel, Sijui, who, another person and another person. But I'll find that I'm more connected
and you're comfortable.
to you. I'm comfortable. The things I tell you, I don't tell them to Rachel or to Agri or to whoever. Why? Because I feel a certain way. Because I connect with someone that's not going to judge me, that is going to allow me to be me, that is going to accept me. That's how we connect. That's how we become fulfilled in a relationship. You see, the person that I'm going to share with, and they will listen to me. They will listen to me. When I need help, they are available. You see? So I'm talking about random other relationship. But how about intimate? Just you have a partner that is not available completely. That you want to talk to, they are not there. Even when they are there, they zone out emotionally. They judge you. They judge you. They belittle you. That's how. So we feel threatened because they are attacking my spirit. Because they attack my spirit. When they attack my spirit, I'm going to protect my spirit. A wall will go up. You see, the wall will go up. I'll protect my spirit. So what happens? I'll keep giving them the benefit of that. Maybe they will listen to me. So what happens? Every time I come to connect again, you ban me. Every time I try to connect, so what happens? I'm just going to develop a coping mechanism. So that's how people go to children, work,
or they take up a hobby. They join an organization that they had no interest in.
Yes. Why? Because they're trying to look for a space to shine. A space that is going to consume their relevance.
Compensate.
You see that? That's where we started.
They need to be needed.
They need to be needed. So what happens? They're going to go to bars, and that's why, for instance, you hear, and my sisters, you hear men say, when I'm here, I'm shining.
Yes.
But what is happening? My partner calls me useless. But me, my fellow boys, I'm leading a circle. In the workplace, I'm a good leader. But
they're relevant.
So when our relevance is not consumed at this level, what happens? We go to spaces that are going to consume that relevance, where I can feel needed, right? So that's how people join activism. And I have nothing against activism. But
what you're doing, you're talking about, that's how you're filling in that void.
So children, so they say, well, I forgot about this, and let me concentrate on my children. Now, it really breaks my heart. I'm just remembering some of the people that I've spoken to. 2 years in marriage, and someone is saying, well, that one I've left now, at least I have a child. It just breaks me. I'm like, hey, 2 years into marriage and you are going to live with this person forever and you're already disconnected? That's painful.
Sometimes I think there were noticeable signs before, but you are all in this rush of the planning and the idea. So the idea of a wedding and the idea of marriage is sometimes so alluring that we ignore some of the signs and we don't address them.
It doesn't
That
matter,
could
to be honest with you, babe. It doesn't matter. You see, the thing is, sometimes actually we mean well, but I'll be very honest with you as a relational scientist. I know that we take relationships for granted.
We do.
We do. Now, for instance, if I may speak to my brothers, and this is science, men tend to pursue. They pursue someone, so that whole pursuit, when you're trying to win them over, you're available, you're looking for them, they go to church, you're hiding behind, you're waiting for them to come out of church, and that kind of pursuit.
Yes.
So they do that.
Yes.
Now that's okay. Then they conquer the person. They conquer. So what has happened? They've trusted you.
Yes.
They have trusted you.
Yes.
So now they say, oh, this person pursuing me everywhere, they must be loving me.
It gives you a sense of, it's lovely.
Because you see, if someone is looking for me everywhere, what's that? I'm relevant.
You feel
I'm needed,
honored, your self-esteem goes to the roof.
You see, so what happens? They get me. Now, when men, after they've done this, because men tend to operate in a compartmentalized way, so they pursue a project, finish, close. Pursue another thing, close. Now, in the natural, that's how they operate. But you see, relationships don't work on the natural inclinations. We are supposed to push ourselves.
You have to work.
You have to work. So in the natural, men are likely to do this. And so when the woman is being pursued, for them, they are just feeling, man, I'm relevant. So they come, they trust you. Now, when a man has finished this project of wedding, according to them, the marriage has. That project
ended.
Done in terms of investment. That's done. I pursued you, I got you. Now you're here. The woman, on the other hand, the wife, has just started the relationship.
That's the
because
beginning.
They were being pursued, now they are here. So when they are here, they are ready to begin while they are
and you feel, I'm done, I'm spent. And when you mention investment, I actually sat with a friend of mine, a gentleman, who actually said for them, marriage is an investment. For the man, he said, women, and I'd never heard of it or thought of it like that until you mentioned it again.
Yes.
Just now. He actually said it's an investment for men.
So, both people have started different mental spaces. So if the man doesn't adjust and know that now the woman is here, she says, I'm here. You pursued me, I'm here to be loved. Then now that's the time you're telling them, the job, I have to work. Now that's okay. Please note that it's okay to work. I work and I talk to people about work-life balance. But you see, if this relationship is not nurtured, you're going to have a certain amount of energy until it runs out. Because you see, when your relationship at home is great, then you're going to have this amount of energy. Again, let me give science. Science, again, in relationships is showing us that the energy we use in the workplace, 80% is hacked from our private spaces. So if you abandon your partner here who is crying and asking you to put them on your to-do list, and you tell them, I'm going to work, you're going to work, those reserves are just going to be depleted soon. Because the more this person cries and complains and yells and all that, then you're going to lose energy. Because you see, our emotional ecosystem, it needs to be feeding us, you see. And so if you're married, your immediate emotional ecosystem is your partner. If your partner is unhappy, crying, deprived, and all that, then you're not going to have the energy. You're acting. You're going to be acting. Don't, sometimes we say very mean things. We say, don't feel, don't you know I'm working? You, because you're home, you don't understand. But you see, those kinds of things. You don't understand, you're home, what do you know? Now, you can say that, but you probably, instead of saying all those so many words, You just needed to be nice and tell your partner, I know you need me, I know this, but I have this project. And after we have done this, I think I'll be available.
We'll spend time together.
You see that,
yes.
we'll spend time together.
Yes.
Or you actually create that moment.
Yes.
But now, instead of saying the right words, we become defensive. When you say this amount of words, when you could have said just a few to build the connection.
And many times we're defensive because we're guilty. You know that?
Yeah.
Because we're guilty and we're not ready to speak about the issue.
I think sometimes we're just ignorant.
Oh, ignorant, yes.
Honestly, that's one of my driving factors. I think no one has told us. We've been told we need to get married, but no one has told us how important this marriage relationship is.
And we're told for functional reasons, have children and maintain the family name.
That's the thing. And one of the programs we are implementing at ICFC is a retirement planning program focusing on beyond finances. A lot of times we've been told, save here, save there, unit trust, circles, banks, fixed account. But, and people have so much money in retirement. By the way, money, that's the easiest part of retirement planning. But no one has told us to nurture relationships. So what is happening is that people are retiring after they've starved the relationships that receive them.
And they hope for a miraculous recovery.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have all this money.
Yeah, because you think people will connect with you just because you're related.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
People connect with you because you relate. Yeah? If your family is not relating with you on a daily, they are going to disconnect. It doesn't matter how related you are. Your children they just zone out. They just move on. Your partner, they can sleep with you in the same bed, but they are disconnected.
And some people say, but I'm working for the family.
No, that's
and it's so unfortunate. But what they mean is they justify why they're disconnected or why they're detached. They say, but I'm working. And yet all they're working for towards retirement, if it amounts to nothing. So what were all those 30, 40 years? What's the average age of people's work, full-time employment? Maybe 40, I think. Maybe 40.
Maybe 40.
So imagine after those 40 years and you have this wonderful pension and all the money that's accumulated, and yet all you needed was an extra 5 minutes of speaking every day. Imagine. So you spent 8 hours a day, calculate that times 40 years, and yet the 5 minutes a day could have made so much more.
Just a little thoughtfulness, just a little mindfulness,
5 minutes.
Just a little empathy, just a little consideration of your partner's needs, just a little bit of
and
that.
And as you said, and that is not financially.
And that's
doesn't
not
cost.
Yes.
Oh,
just a little faith. I mean, there's nothing about finances. Please continue to make money.
It's important,
continue to make. No one is against money.
Yes.
But we are talking about relationships.
Relationships, yes.
And you can still nurture your relationships by being thoughtfulness financially. But I want to tell you, much of it is non-financial. Much of it. Much of our connection has nothing to do with money. That's why sometimes people who don't have a lot of money are even way happier.
And you wonder.
Yeah.
And you're like, my
and
goodness.
Then people are confused.
And
then you have so much money in big houses, and then you're miserable.
Yes.
That's what happens. It's because you're not, and there's nothing wrong with big.
No.
Please have
absolutely.
Big houses, enjoy big houses, enjoy your. I mean, even Scripture tells us, I desire Jesus.
Yeah.
He says, God tells us that He desires that we prosper, be in health, even as our souls prosper.
And enjoy our lives in the land of the living.
There's nothing wrong with prospering.
Yes.
But prospering only one way, because you hear, I prosper that, I desire that you prosper, be in health, even as your soul prospers.
Yes.
This is holistic prosperity. But most of the time, it is just a little finances and running with finances, big things, big car, big house, big misery in the big houses. Misery, pain, confusion, depression, big. Why? Because we don't pay attention to the connection. We are disconnected. You are disconnected. You can sleep in the same bed but be totally disconnected You see?
How are children usually affected from your experience?
Of course they are.
They are.
That's why I was telling you that parental, at spousal level, when children see you connected, they are going to be happy.
Confidence
I hope you are aware. I think I've said
confidence.
it here that 80% of the children's happiness and wellness
Stems
and
from-
health is rooted in the parents' relationship. Now, simple things like when children see you smile, talk
Together,
laugh,
actual talking.
together,
Yes.
laugh.
Yes.
Even when they are little,
Yes.
you're going to see them happy.
Oh, yes.
Actually, again, science is showing us, and maybe people haven't paid attention to this, I've said it before. When you, as parents, as a couple, you're laughing, you're talking, you're connected, you'll see children, they'll come and say, oh, mommy, yeah, daddy, see,
Yes,
see.
yes.
They play more.
Yes.
They play more. But once you're not connected,
They shut themselves in their room.
they shut themselves in the room, but they also get hyperactive. They get hyper vigilant, and they come and they see, because you see, misery is seen on the face.
Yes.
This connects,
Yes.
rather communicates how we feel. And so children are going to come and see and say, Daddy, are you okay? Most of the time they don't ask Daddy, they ask
They go to-
Mommy. They go to Mommy, Mommy, are you fine? Mommy, are you fine? Smile for me. When they are little. But when they have grown, they are going to see this misery. And they also know, they are going to see that one party is at home. I mean, I've seen, I've met partners, especially men, who are home and the partner is not there. Oh, by the way, babe, we also have women now who they go home back. They
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
sorry, they go
It's
at
increasingly
5.
becoming
Yeah, it's increasingly becoming
a problem.
an
Because they're
issue.
with other fellow women who have decided to create this group of, I don't know what they call it.
Maybe independence,
But
who knows?
yes, that.
Yeah. But children seeing daddy at home, he comes in time, but he's home, mommy is not there, they are not seeing her, and so they are wondering what's happening. Because you see, children know. But of course it's common, it's more common with men. By the way, I didn't give you the statistic, we have more loneliness, more lonely wives than
More lonely
husbands. And the excuses you're talking about, I'm working, but you're working up to midnight, up to 2 a.m., up to 3. You're working? What kind of work are you doing? You are a watchman?
At what cost?
Like,
The
what
cost
are
is
you
not worth
doing?
it, yes.
And then we want our children to believe that we are working. You're working. You are a dad. You are a husband in a family, and you come every day, 3, 4, 5. Some people come home to change clothes. And the more you do that, the more you look for a reason to justify
Of course,
and
yes.
reduce guilt and shame. And so we say, I don't feel peace at home. But who took the peace? Who took the peace from home? The things you're doing are taking peace away and taking away connection. I don't feel, there are some people also who are not going home to connect because they feel disconnected. You cannot heal disconnection by disconnecting more.
Yes.
Can you?
No.
You can't. If you know that you have disconnected, check what has disconnected. There's always something.
There's always something.
There's always something. Now, being avoidant and running and probably starting some other random relationships out there, it doesn't solve the connection at home. It's going to create a sense of desperation, cause misery, cause more, probably give you more reasons to run, but you're part of the problem.
And take responsibility for your part.
100%.
Yes.
So it is very important for us to know that once we disconnect as a couple, we are hurting children. We are hurting our children. Yeah, because our children's wellness and the comfort and the protection comes from how we are connected.
And you know what challenges me sometimes? What you're saying is so true. I'm just seeing the trajectory from the start of your core when it's not fed, your spirit, and all the problems that arise when we starve the core. I think sometimes, because I grew up in the fellowship from university, active in so many things, I think sometimes when you're married, they expect you to have the same activity. And that's a problem. because I was dancing, I was in Sunday school, I was all those things. I was not married, didn't have children. I wasn't even paying rent. So I didn't even need to work as much. You see, my financial obligations were less. But there's a lot of pressure when people are married with children to continue the same, and they call it ministry. But ministry now, I'm a wife. My ministry is at home, isn't it? I'm a mother. Isn't my ministry with raising wonderful children and nurturing them and showing them how wonderful they can be, leaders in the world, how impactful? And I always find myself conflicted when I want to talk about this or ask or to suggest a way of balancing. Don't expect a father to go for morning fellowship every day, or not even, before he's even a father, husband, to go for morning fellowship every day. When he's not single anymore. Don't expect that.
No, that's right. But babe, you also know that sometimes when we get married, we, as soon as the wedding is over, we go back to single life.
We go back to single. That's, you're single in a, what do they call it? You're
single in a marriage.
Single in a marriage, yes.
Now, for single life, it's very easy to live single when you're married.
Yes.
You just need to continue doing the things
exactly
of
what you
life.
did. Exactly what you did.
Now, first of all, I'll tell you, it's okay for you to serve the Lord, but I want to tell you that there are so many people who don't understand that marriage is ministry.
Marriage is your ministry. Yeah. And
because you see, God has placed the lonely in families, right? He's placed the lonely in families. He didn't place the lonely people in families for you to make them more lonely. You see? That's number one. But number two, family. Family is the bedrock of society.
There it is, yes.
So there are so many ministry points, ministry grounds. I mean, God's vineyard is from A to Z. But the moment he has called you, because marriage is also a calling.
Yes.
You see, if he has called you into marriage, then that service, you can't replace it with anything else.
No.
And I'm aware, I think I've worked with some people in ministry. You can be a pastor and pastor so many, but then your core family is not taken care of. Can I?
And it happens so much.
I'll give you scripture. Scripture from 1 Samuel. We hear about this. We read, not hear. We read about the high priest called Eli. Eli, the high priest, he served the Lord. In fact, scripture records that he was a very diligent servant. Diligent. By the time the Bible records that emphasis, that guy was diligent. But what happened? He didn't pay attention to his sons, Hophni and Phinehas.
Yes.
And scripture says the guys, the sons, the sons of the high priest did not know God. What was he doing? He was nurturing the prophet Samuel. And so he nurtured prophet Samuel to the finest detail, to a point that whenever God spoke to Samuel, he rushed to Eli and said, "Did you call me?" That's how intimate. As a matter of fact, I read that scripture. Sometimes this guy would sleep in the temple, not home, in the temple. What was he doing? Serving the Lord. What happened? Because he did not nurture his sons. Scripture says he had a bad ending. God punished him for not paying attention to his whole relationships. That's what we are talking about. So you can be serving the Lord, that's okay. But once God has called you into the ministry of family, that's going to be your priority. Because God knows that once society is held together by strong families, the rest of the ministries are going to function. That's why most ministries are not working, because people lack foundation.
People lack foundation. The core relationship is starved.
The core relationship is starved, but also they are not healthy. That's what you're talking about.
They're not healthy at all.
They're
and
not
I
healthy.
find that conflict so much. And then again, just like how people overcompensate by joining other clubs, what they do, they join other clubs within the church now. Hey, you see, it's actually, so what you're doing is like people who say, I've left my job for full-time ministry. In other words, you're saying, I've left my marriage for full-time ministry. Your marriage is the ministry. Your children. That's what people
ministry.
say. I've left my job for full-time, whatever that means. Because I think if you're in a job, that's where your ministry is at that point, unless God has specifically called you. But I think if you have a job, if you're a sweeper, if you're a secretary, if you're a CEO, may you be the best. Be in that position that God has called you, and that's how you bring lives. And I think people think they disconnect marriage and church, and they think, no, it's part of. Don't separate and say, now I'm going to ministry. Ministry is at the home.
But having said that, Bev, I know that we are about to conclude this. For us to know that you're not going to replace anything with family the moment you get into it. It's a calling. And when God calls you into family, He entrusts you with the foundation of His nature. And I'm just remembering another scripture. I think it's in Genesis, where God was when He was calling Abraham. At some point, He had a conversation and said, "I trust Him. I know He will lead His children in my way." And so He's calling him, and he has no child, but He's saying, "I know He will lead His children and descendants according to my ways." You see how it is important?
Yes.
So he knows God. When He calls us, He knows that He has entrusted us with the most important thing, most important relationships here in family. So once we ignore this, the rest of the places we are acting. Yeah, we are acting, and we are looking for a point of relevance. Let me be seen here. Okay, now there that I cannot be seen, let me be but we have an opportunity to fix that. We have an opportunity to fix
And that's a great way to close this, an opportunity to fix it. Are you facing loneliness? Are you the cause of loneliness, or were you unaware? You are wondering why you are miserable. The statistics are dire. Are you part of those statistics? There's a way to reconnect and reignite that relationship, because it's really core. If you're married, it's a core relationship. Nurture it. Don't disconnect. And if you do feel disconnected, reconnect. There are many ways. 5 minutes a day of honest compliments. 5 minutes a day of preparing juice and saying, "Have a wonderful day. I've packed tea for you in a flask." It costs nothing. But it will add an eternity of blessings for yourself, for your children, and for your work as well. God bless you so much. Another episode of Reality Check. Like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, find ways of changing your life if it needs to be changed. God bless you so much. Bye-bye.